Hey, what's going on, world? It's your boy Antonio, the Soldierpreneur, and I'm here talking about change, man. Talking about change and talking about my book. When you know better, you do better. Right here, guys. Find it on Amazon. So, the change that I'm looking at and I'm going through, this process that I'm presenting in the book, we talk about 3 different levels of focus points before you can navigate the change the best way possible. And that's your character. So you be. So be, know, do. Be is your character, your values, who you are from the inside out. And a lot of times we don't get that first part. But the next part is knowledge, right? Knowledge and understanding. What do you know? What are you seeking to know? What are you seeking to understand? That's really important now. Also, on the third step is how you carry yourself, what you do. What is it that your impact is? Because everybody's watching. Somebody's watching. So what are you doing to show that you know these things and your values are who you are? So when you do things, the cycle begins again because you've learned something new about yourself. So do you honor and value that? Or do you turn around and do what you've been doing? You keep repeating that same process. Or are you evolving as you go? So my first chapter is all about understanding the be, the know, and the do. Then it quickly opens up to the second chapter, information, which is the adapt framework, which is what the entire book, the basics of the book is all about. Is my adapt framework. And that is accepting, saying it is what it is, man. Accepting the situation, understanding that. And then you must develop the discipline. Discipline your disappointments. Once you discipline your disappointments, and then you can align with God. That's when you can give Him your all. Once you align yourself with God, you will practice winning behavior. Practice. You start to practice in your mind, start practicing your spirit. Like, man, this is how I'm going to carry myself. And then you teach it by doing. And it's the same cycle for every situation because change is happening for me. And that's where this is coming from. So I've been engaged in more speech and understanding with God. I've been developing myself and my family. We're being guided. And I was so into the world that I was so called myself in control of what is going on, the dynamics of my life. And I really wasn't. Because I didn't control nobody but myself, my reactions to the stimulus that was happening in front of me. And a lot of times it wasn't the right way of doing things. I kept spinning my wheels and reading my book. I'm like, man, I was a different dude then. It's so interesting how the cycles help you grow faster because you're consistently evaluating, consistently looking at the situation like, does this apply? Does this apply? So you constantly thinking that understanding. And as I'm reading the Bible, I'm finding more and more nuances that are happening in our culture that I can't really vibe with anymore. It's so interesting. But this is a blueprint, guys. This is a blueprint for your life. I navigate with it. I understand it to the point where I can accept everything that's happening. Just, my mom says it all the time. It is what it is. And we got to move forward. We got to discipline our disappointment. That's how you move forward. And a lot of times we don't even deal with the disappointment. We get bitter. And then we hold on to those grudges. And we sit back and we think that why is nothing changing around us? It's because you're not accepting it. You're not saying, all right, I got to discipline my disappointment. I got to forgive. Somehow, some way. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive the next person. Forgive your moms, forgive your pops. Forgive those people that are you giving so much energy to. Because then you have to align with God. Once you align, once you say, all right, I'm going to give it to you, Lord. That's how you can discipline yourself. You give it to Him. Once you understand that part, once you can do that, attempt that, I guarantee you'll feel that much more better. And so then you can start to practice. You can start to practice this winning behavior. Once you are practicing that winning behavior, you're acknowledging, like, man, I'm changed, I'm somebody new, and boy, is this working for me? That's how I feel. And I'm teaching you guys how to adapt by focusing on who you are, your values. In every situation, you have to look at that thing and say, hey, who am I becoming by accepting this stimulus in this fashion? Meaning, am I getting mad? Am I getting sad? What negativity am I dealing with at this very moment? How are you being? Because we are human beings, not human doing. We're not just doing stuff, y'all. We are being the best version of ourselves. At least that should be your goal. Now, what is it that you are seeking? What knowledge are you seeking to understand? Or are you just looking just to read some information just because mommy and daddy said read, or your teacher said read this, or your therapist, whoever, your friend said read this? Are you seeking to understand it? That's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, by the way. Seek to understand. Once you start to understand, you start to develop what you know already, then you start to applying what you know in your do phase. So once you start executing, you start to learn more stuff about you, about who you are now. And who you have been is no longer you. Once you start changing the things that you are used to doing. If you can change those things, that just means that you are becoming somebody different. And that's your B phase. Once again, your values have increased, have changed. Something has updated in your system that says that I'm somebody different, because then you start to seek new knowledge. That's what this cycle is all about. It's the cycle of transformative leadership for a reason. Because as you are growing, other people are looking up to you because they're not growing as much as you are, so they want to be attached to your hip. You will attract those people. As you move forward in your execution phase, you start to run across other pieces of information that's going to change who you are. Once you find that information is valuable to you, then you will start to move differently, right? That's that person. I just say for myself, once I learned the errors of my ways, because I had an awakening, because I'm always open to understand, then I said, wow, damn, Antonio, what are you doing? God, give me the understanding, give me the strength that I need to make the change. I put some things down, I put some things away. I started to pay attention differently. So I started to do things differently, and I became somebody different. And once I became somebody different, I started to look to seek more knowledge on understanding of why I am where I am, or what's going to happen, what's going on, so I can get the better understanding, so I can carry myself better, which is different than who I once was when I actually wrote this book. But the cycle remains the same. I will be the example for others to follow. I would know what's right and seek for more understanding. And I would do the best that I can in that given moment. And I have to adapt to every situation that comes my way, which means I have to accept it. It is what it is, man. Discipline my disappointments. Once I do that, then I can align with God, because He sees my heart. Then I'm going to practice winning behavior because He gives me the strength to do so. Then I get to teach others how we do this. This is all, and when you know better, you do better. Talk about other stories that happened to me, like when I went to warrant officer school in the Army and things just didn't go my way. Pay attention to all these great stories, and there's other people, other stories in here as well. My name is Antonio, the Soldierpreneur. I'm here for you. Much love to y'all. Peace.